Before printing a worksheet or making a presentation using a worksheet, it's often better to first consider some alignment techniques that will make the presentation more appealing. It's going to make sense here, for example, in row 1 and in row 2 to center this data from left to right. And one easy feature is simply to highlight the cells. Now, the color is added at your own discretion, but it makes sense to center this title across these cells here. And of course, merge and center. I say of course because it is widely known as a great tool for centering. But before doing that, what you might also consider doing is selecting not just this data, but the row below it. Let's center both of these from left to right. Merge and center. And we get a prompt saying that, in effect, it's going to throw away our second row. So if we click OK here, or at least throw away the data, what happens? It's gone. We don't want to do that. So it looks as if we got to do this in 2 steps. Well, not really. Highlight this data and then letting go of the left mouse button, and now using the Control key, highlight this data here from left to right. Merge and center to take care of both of those at the same time. Not so well known, and probably not as much needed, is the fact that you can also center vertically. So I'm inserting a new column to the left of column A here, and I want to put in the word item or items. This may not be the best of words, but it'll work here. And what I'm going to do here is merge these cells, merge and center, and then change the orientation using the orientation button in the alignment group to make this be rotate text up, and use this button here to center the data there. Double click to make that a little bit narrower, maybe apply a color. So you can do that as well to provide a little bit of flair to a worksheet. And perhaps you know also that this set of numbers here, we can easily change the alignment of these. Now, this isn't truly necessary here. Sometimes it might be. But in the alignment group on the Home tab, in the orientation group, we might choose, for example, angle counterclockwise. Either it gives your worksheet a little bit of flair, or maybe in some cases it saves you a little bit of space. It's interesting also that if you have applied this alignment, if you accompany it with one of the border features, this one right here for all borders, most people agree it tends to look a little bit more interesting than it did before. So before this, it looked like this, and now it looks like this. So take your pick. That's easy to get to. And on these orientation buttons, you might occasionally try some of the other approaches. I haven't met anybody yet who likes this one, but there it is. Another one you might try is rotate text down. I don't see that very often. Or angle counterclockwise. I rarely see this one. But again, you've got your choices. They're easy to get to. And here and there, it makes the worksheet have a little bit more pizzazz, perhaps, a little bit of flash to it. Easy to get to. Now, with certain kinds of data, for example, on this budget sheet here, notice the data here in cells A5 and A6. Now, let's hope that whoever put this in didn't type leading spaces. Well, whoever did this did not do that. You can look in the formula bar and see that. So how do we get this data moved over? It certainly enhances readability, and it would make good sense to do that right here as well. It's not strictly required, but this is going to look better if it's offset a bit to the right. And sure enough, we've got alignment buttons here. There it is. Increase the indent. Notice the keystroke shortcut, Control-Alt-Tab. You might click that a few times. Want to go leftward? Try it here. And I doubt if you use it for this purpose, but it also can be used to move dollar signs over. Probably wouldn't use it here, but if this column is wider and you simply want to pull in the dollar sign, then you can increase the indent this way in stages. I think that's a more obscure use of it, but getting back to the idea here, it makes good sense sometimes to offset text data from the headings. It's easier to read, and don't waste time putting in leading spaces. So there are quite a few alignment tools built into Excel.